Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is a outspoken individual, and he's close to Schumer. So Whitehouse does a lot of the public stuff because Schumer doesn't like to do that. Whitehouse went on MSNBC, which is the outlet that all Democrats use to get a message out. And here's what he said.
Could you imagine Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a great president, telling Winston Churchill, you're going to have to make a deal with Herr Hitler, and we're cutting off Lend-Lease until you do. And by the way, you may not be able to keep your whole island. That would not have been a great president. That would have been a cowardly and shameful president. And that is the position that Donald Trump has consistently been in with respect to Zelensky versus Putin.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Number one, Winston Churchill and Great Britain were not in any danger of losing the war at that time. They needed U.S. assistance, of course, but Hitler wasn't a lock to defeat England. In fact, in the Battle of Britain, Churchill and the British won. They beat the Luftwaffe, and they beat Hitler. And Hitler never invaded England, couldn't do it, didn't have the power to do it. Okay? So that's the big deal because Ukraine can't beat Putin. They're totally different playing fields, not the same. Now, Whitehouse doesn't know that. He's not smart enough to know it. But here's the kicker. So in late February of 1945, middle of February, there was a conference among FDR, American President, Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin at Yalta. Stalin, of course, the dictator of Soviet Union. This was to figure out what to do after the Germans surrendered, which they were going to do, and they held out till May, but it was a fait accompli. Germans lost. Okay? So what do? At that meeting, Franklin Roosevelt, who was ill, gave Stalin everything. Everything. Okay? And that led to the Cold War, because Stalin just rolled across, and the Soviet troops occupied Eastern Europe. They violated everything. They did whatever they wanted. Now, I write about this extensively in Killing Patton, because Patton knew that was going to happen, was screaming about it, that you can't give in to Stalin, and FDR did. And Churchill was appalled, but at that time, Churchill didn't have any power. It was America versus the Soviet Union because Britain was depleted after World War II. Churchill knew what Roosevelt was doing was giving Stalin everything. So Whitehouse had no idea. Oh, FDR never would have done that. A great president. Look, I don't want to call a sitting U.S. senator names, but that guy doesn't know anything about it, about history, about anything. All he's in business to do is to undermine Trump trying to get a ceasefire in Ukraine, which is a good thing. Yes, Ukraine's going to lose about 10% of its territory, and I feel terrible about that. But there's no other alternative. That war will never end. Putin's not going to stop unless Trump forces him to, as Trump forced Zelensky to go to the table. Zelensky didn't want to stop the war. I don't know why. His population being brutalized. He's not going to win. Yeah, I understand you don't want to give away 10% of your territory, but sometimes in history you have to do that. You just have to. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.